Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode number 447 of the Stacey West podcast. I am your host, Ben, and I'm joined by Gaz. How you doing, mate? It's old school tonight.
We're taking it back, aren't we? It's Throwback Sunday, which doesn't work as well as Throwback Tuesday or Thursday. But yeah, it's back to the old days. I can't remember the last one we did.
No, I was going to say it would probably have usually been something like Deadline Day, but that was you weren't even here for that one. No, it's been a while, but no, it's good to be back in the swing of it with your good self. How you doing? You keeping all right?
Yeah, it's been an interesting day. Obviously we've had, I don't know what it's been like in Lincoln, but up here we've kind of had blizzard conditions, and now every bit of snow is gone and it's all been washed away in the rain. It's muddy, and yeah, so I've spent the day working as I usually do on a Sunday, and then had a couple of hours this afternoon losing my rag on FIFA with people. Go, Joe, what? Right, okay. So there's a game mode called Rush. We play it sometimes. You, me, Stu, Chris have played it sometimes, and I do not understand why. Like, because normally it's 4 people you don't know on your team, and it's 4 people you don't know. I don't understand why some people just come on and then go on to pause, or don't pass, just try and beat everyone, lose the ball, and then just stand around. Like, what are they achieving? Oh, I could have pelted my controller. Fee went to bed in the end. She went to bed this afternoon.
No, I feel that. I really do. It's why I tend to try and not play Rush unless I know I can play it with people.
Yeah, I mean, it's good though, isn't it? And I mean, like, so yesterday was obviously Valentine's Day. So Fee and I have been watching Fallout. It was really good. Another video, one of the very, very few video game TV/film crossovers that actually works.
Yeah,
I know you being a proper nerd, you'll think of something. But
The Last of Us is very good.
I haven't seen the show, but the game is brilliant. But normally, if the TV show's great, the game is crap, and if the game's great, the TV show's crap. But Fallout just works, and all the little nods to the game. Like, Fee really enjoys it. She's not a gamer, never had a controller in her hand at all. She loves Fallout. She thinks it's brilliant. But there's me going, oh, I can't wait to see a super mutant, or like, oh, that's a death claw. She goes, what's a death claw? Oh, they're a bastard to fight. And I was telling her about like moments in the game that I've played, and like New Vegas was spot on. So yeah, we watched that last night. Fee did a curries from scratch, chicken Rogan Josh and lamdo piazza. So yeah, just a nice quiet day today. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm good. I say we've had some friends up with their kids over the past couple of days, so it's been very busy, very tiring, and I'm glad I can give them back. But yeah, it's on the whole not too bad, mate. Not too bad at all. Just plodding on, staying the course, keeping on with pretty much everything, and trying to work out whether I want to have some form of party for my birthday next month.
Yeah, definitely have some form of party, but we'll talk about that because Cast With Me 02 in the chat has said he's got currently a full Evo Imps team and he's been losing his head all day. I've got a full Evo Imps team. Today I got Jack Moylan up to 89 on the Knockout Stars card, which is great. And so now I'm working on Rico Hackett. I think I've got one more to do on Ryan One. So I love it. That's the only reason I'm playing. Like,
yeah,
I lose interest. There's too many cards now. Like Ultimate Team, it's like there's 100 different like versions of a player. It's crap. But the Evos, that's what's got me going.
Yeah, I'm trying to do that, but I'm just it's the time. Like I just can't sink that much time into FIFA.
It's a big grind, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But I'm doing all right. I've got a decent enough side. I think I've got an 88 Draper at the minute, which is all right, and he's coming on well. But look, let's stop talking about FIFA because one, it will probably make you angry, and two, it's probably not what people are tuning in for. Because yesterday was billed as probably the biggest game of the season until the next one, and showing up, it probably felt a little bit big gamey. There was a lot of people in the fan zone. It filled out quite quickly, quite early. We were there very early to get Rachel's friend's kid to go and meet some of the players and get his stickers signed, and it was just a really nice atmosphere before the game. Fantastic stuff. And then the first 11 came in, Gaz. Now,
first of all, can I just apologise to anybody who I brushed off in the fan zone? So I had arranged to meet a guy called Chris, pod fan reader of the Stacey West. He was giving me all these financial information from the club going back to the 70s, like annual reports and stuff. I was running a bit late, and like I was going through the fan zone, and typically like 6 or 7 different people like, Gary, how are you? Oh, just people I don't know saying, oh, I like your stuff. It was really flattering, but I was so rude flying straight through the fan zone. So my apologies to anybody who I literally just went, yep, all right, yep, sorry, gotta go. Yeah, so my apologies for that.
No, Chris and I had a few people come up to us yesterday as well. It was really, really nice, and again, it kind of added to all the big match build-up. I think it was, it was really nice. We stopped and talked to them though because we're not rude.
Because
but
we don't have anything else to do before the game.
That's
apart
very
from
true
eat
as well.
curry jack and stand around drinking beer. I'm a busy man, Ben.
Oh, you know what? Before we go into the lineup, I do have to give a shout out to Curry Jacks because yesterday I went to get it. And when they know my order, they just go, beef and a jacket, cool, there we go. So I went to put it through, and I went to pay for it, and they went, we're not charging you today. I went, well,
oh, you've gone all Jake. Jake used to get his hair cut free. Look at you, Billy Big Time.
I didn't ask for it. I didn't ask. I just said to him, like, why not? What's going on? And they said it was because they'd heard that I was very upset that they missed the last game and they wanted to get up to me.
All right, I'll let you off for that. It's not that they heard that you were going to give them a keep shout out on the podcast beforehand.
No, it did make me laugh. But anyway, as I was tucking into my curry, we got the starting lineup through, Gaz, and for the 6th time in a row, it was an unchanged starting 11.
Was it 6? I thought it was 5, but 5.
No, back to Luton. Going back to Luton, we've been unchanged.
Was it Luton as well? Wow. Okay,
yeah.
I didn't realise it was that far back. Surprised me we didn't change, if I'm honest. Yep. I had said beforehand I thought maybe Tom Bayliss for Bartholomew, but Bartholomew was probably one of our best players yesterday. And I also thought maybe Ben House to start over Rob Street, and I thought Rob Street put an incredible shift in as well. So superb. It's consistency, but those knocking on the door are all kind of players that you don't feel will let us down when they come on. You will bring in players on who could quite easily start. And we're not talking just 1 or 2. We're not talking like days at Danny Cowley where you knew the starting 11 and you knew that Elliot Whitehouse and Ollie Palmer were the 2 coming on. And outside of that, there wasn't a lot to choose from. It's, Ben House and Tom Bayliss will get a run out. Ryan Oney probably will. Dom Jeffries might do. Riley Tout. There's so many options. So we've got squad depth again. And imagine all the worry when the players started leaving in the transfer window, and we had Okawoy and 2 goalkeepers on the bench at Luton. So, and that's another interesting point, isn't it? Like, you could understand us having unchanged team Luton in the game after because we didn't have the depth, but we've really got the depth back now as well, just at the right time.
Yeah, no, 100%. And it felt, I think the only changes that people were maybe anticipating were Tom Bayliss coming in for Ivan after his performance last week, because I think, as you said at the time, he was absolutely superb when he came on last weekend, and that was the one where you think, maybe. But yeah, completely unchanged. Raised maybe a few eyebrows, but the game kicks off, and we're known for starting well. And Jack Moylan goes through and hits the bar within, inside 2 minutes, and that kind of set the stall out, didn't it?
Yeah, it set the stall out for the game. I think the first 10 minutes really set the stall for the game, to be fair. But like we came out of the blocks. It's not the hit in the bar, it's the Megs, isn't it? Like how that defender's ever going to show his face again? Like at training, he's going to go in on Monday morning, and all his little Bolton trotter mates are going to be like, you got mugged right off, mate.
Do you reckon that professional footballers still say Megs when they go past someone like that?
Oh, he's got to have uttered it.
You've got to, haven't you?
Stu, who does our social media, he's big friends with Jack Moylan. Ask him, Stu. Message him. Did he say whisper Megs under his breath as he had done it? No, do you know what it did, though? It's a great moment to laugh and joke about. But Jack Moylan is a man absolutely on fire. And from the first minute to go in and do that. And I mean, I got a message from Pete. Now, as we know full well, my mate Pete, our mate Pete Summers, can be a belligerent, miserable. He will criticise everything, and Even when we win, he'll message me and go, such and such has done badly here. We beat Peterborough 5-2 and he was questioning Tendai for one of the goals. And that's just the way Pete is. He messages me last night. This is after the game, by the way, but it's about Jack Moylan. Fantastic. Battered them. Moylan had 10 shots, according to the BBC. After season in the Championship, he's an 8 million plus player. So good. Pete said that.
That's about as high praise as you're going to get, isn't it? I mean, it's the fact that when you look at when he gets the ball back off Rico Hackett, he's got 3 players around him. And if you were to pause that, take a screenshot and send it to somebody and say within 3 seconds he's going to be inside the 18-yard box crashing one against the bar, you get laughed at for most players. It was just really, really impressive, and just took 2 players out of the game completely. He does start to pinpoint that. Yeah, he does have that in his locker, and he's just able to pull something out of pretty much nothing. But yeah, I mean, obviously that was the first sort of signal of intent from Jack Moylan, and then literally 3 minutes later gets on the end of a Tom Hamer long throw, which is as good as a cross these days. And he doesn't force too much out of the goalkeeper, but he forces him to make a save. And you think if that was just the other side, probably would have been a goal up. But yeah, another nice little entry into the box for Jack, and one where you think, bloody hell, we could have had something there as well. Yeah,
it's just reflective of the start. And obviously, we're not going to be able to go into each and every opportunity or set of opportunities because there were so many of them. I started watching the highlights earlier and I ran out of time. I thought I might run out of video minutes on Y Scout because it was crazy. But it was just a good start. What particularly kind of excited me at that point was that long throw just dropped free into the box. And I thought, my God, if they're going to be letting that happen all game, we could have a hatful here. And they didn't. But, just for 5 minutes or so, they looked a little bit on the ropes, like we'd come out just throwing punches. But they are, they're a good side, Bolton. That, a lot of their supporters have been giving it on social media. But when I say a lot, it feels like a lot, but it's not. We met loads of their supporters. They were sort of playing them down, building us up. And then they got themselves back into the game a little bit, didn't they? And they've got some good players. They've got some really good players. Blackett Taylor on the left really impressed me. Once sent off at Sincilbank for Tranmere in 2019. Ironically, I believe it was the same day that I first hurt my toe that I have now got arthritis in. So there we go. Interesting, fun Gary fact.
I don't know how many more we can get of them. Can we get more fun Gary facts in the game in the podcast today?
I'll see.
But yeah, no, I thought Blackett Taylor was an absolute menace. Throughout the game yesterday, I thought Dorico handled him really, really well. He definitely got the better of him a couple of times, but when he did, the cross came in and it was usually snuffed out pretty quickly. But yeah, I mean, like you say, after we gave him a little bit of a jab on the nose for the first 10 minutes or so. But then after that, they did come back into it a little bit. I mean, Dolby had a shot, which arguably went out of play in the build-up. I know we saw that in the Premier League the other week, but, it's one of them where it was on the line. But, Wickens matched that one. And then who else was it? Apter had a shot, which was blocked shortly after that, and then followed that one up. And that was kind of the spell where you thought, oh, okay, yeah, maybe they have got something about them.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't realise it was coming back to me. Look, they have. They're a good side, and like going into the game, they've obviously been creating plenty of opportunities, plenty of chances. They did have a couple of half chances. I never felt particularly worried. Beyond my usual undue worriness, which I get for every single game. But they were asking questions, and that's what we expected. And the delightful thing for me was that we kept asking them as well. Earlier in the season when we went to their place, we scored early, but we went there, scored early, and then we were really under pressure, and they were asking all the questions, and we were just penned in. And there was a spell, maybe 10, 15 minutes in that first half, where I thought, here we go. No, we're struggling to get out here. They look good. And then we just got ourselves back into it. And I think the goal, gave us a lift. It certainly gave the crowd a lift. But, I mean, the atmosphere was phenomenal anyway. They're away fans. were a massive credit. And I'm never one for attendance shaming. I'm not one to go to a ground and say this is Tim Part or you haven't got any support. That's not for me. But I'll happily praise really good support, and they're probably the loudest set of fans I remember at Sincil Bank since Portsmouth a couple of seasons ago. I thought they were excellent, and it just made for a really good occasion, and especially when the roof came off when Jack scored.
Yeah, I mean, there's a TV show called Parks and Recreation, and in that show, there's a bit that's used as a little bit of a meme, and it's when one of the characters looks at something and he goes, "It's beautiful," and he just looks at the camera and goes, "It's beautiful. I've looked at this for 5 hours now." And that last night was basically me rewatching Jack Moylan's goal, because it was just unbelievable. Like, Adam Reach gets the ball. There's some good work to get the ball out to him. He gets the ball, plays a quick 1-2. I think it's with Tom Hamer. I may be wrong on that, but I think it's with Tom Hamer. Quick 1-2. Ball comes across, headed down by Jack Moylan. Rico takes 2 touches, back to Jack Moylan. And in real time, I think Emily said the same in our chat afterwards. In real time, it didn't register to me that was a first-time shot. He was that composed with it. It felt like he took a touch and then scored. But watching it back, just first time, side foot into the bottom corner on the volley. It's one of the best goals I think I've seen a Lincoln City side score for a long, long time. And there was 7 touches between Adam Reach's first release for that 1-2 and it going into the back of the net. And it was, for a team that apparently only scores set pieces, it was some simply beautiful football, wasn't it, Gaz?
It was, yeah. It seems odd that you don't know who Reach played the 1-2 with if you've watched it for 5 hours straight.
I know, I'm just thinking that. I'm like, yeah.
It was Rob Street.
It was Rob Street, yeah.
Yeah, Rob Street, who is quickly, very, very quickly becoming kind of the unsung hero who does so much of the dirty work up front that you don't always notice him. He's not on the assist, he's not on the goals, but my God, he works so hard. So yeah, it was Street. Also worth pointing out, by the way, that their manager, Stephen Schumacher, had said Ethan Arahan couldn't make the tackle on Adam Reach because he was already on the yellow. And I will come on to those 2 yellows, by the way, and the discipline in a minute. No, he couldn't make the tackle on Adam Reach because Adam Reach skinned him and he couldn't get near him. He was happy to try and hack Jack Moylan down on the stroke of half time, by the way, Ethan. And I'm not having a pop at Ethan Arahan, but let's have it right. But yeah, it's a good finish. Look, in terms of saying it's the best goal I've seen for ages, it's the best goal I've seen since probably the last great team goal that we scored. We've got in that many of them. There was good ones against Bradford. There was great ones against Peterborough. We've been likened to Arsenal with things like set pieces and stuff like that. Well, I've seen Arsenal score some great goals as well. So, yeah.
I mean, there's worse teams to be compared to, isn't there, when Arsenal sat top of the Premier League?
Yeah, I'd be worried if we're being compared to Wolves or Burnley. I did the player comparison article, the widget thing that Chris introduced me to, and all the players that were coming up were like Burnley and Wolves and stuff like that. I'm thinking, I don't know if I can really publish this. I was delighted when James Collins come out as Erling Haaland. But anyway, sorry, I digress.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was just, it was that moment. And like you say, the roof came off. I mean, I can only imagine what it was like hearing the noise from the press box, because it was so loud where we were. And I mean, I think I said in our group chat, I think my soul left my body at one point. It was just one of those pure elation, moments of absolute elation.
There's a goal.
And the realization sort of sets in. You're like, oh no, you and Emily have said it before on the pod, like, we are really good.
I think that's setting after we beat Bradford. But again, every game you go into, I'm a pessimist. So
yeah,
when we went 1-0 up, it's like, oh, thank God for that. I've been proven wrong yet again. Especially against a good team, because you knew that they were going to have a spell and going to have a chance. And I thought after that, I mean, we did have some opportunities in the half, but probably from that moment till half time, I think we only had another 2 efforts, both Rob Streets. But for me, it was all about the discipline. And I've been sending images and videos from Y Scout to our group chat all morning, haven't I? And I think there was a red card in the game, which should have been given. I actually think that the referee,
arguably 2.
Yeah, I was going to say the referee could have given 2 red cards. I think he set the bar early because he's given a yellow card to Ivan Bartholomew. And I think that's as much based on crowd and player reaction. I mean, they're yelling at him to give the yellow. When I've looked at it, it's 2 players going up to try and kick the ball at kind of shoulder height. One of them kicks it, and the other one's a fraction of a second later.
Yeah,
and that's the
well,
one.
we said, didn't we, that if Ethan had been slightly earlier than Ivan, or if Ivan had been slightly earlier, and Ethan was slightly later, Ethan would be in the book for that.
Yeah,
it was just one of those. They both got the right to go for it, and it's just unfortunate that Ethan got there slightly first. And I'm fully with you that it was that there was a lot of player reaction, because Ethan did an Ethan Arahan thing where he's been fouled and he goes down and he stays on the floor. And the instant that the card comes out, he hops back up like he's, there's nothing wrong with him. It's
their reporter, Mark Isles, Bolton News reporter, he's a really good guy. And he basically was laughing at that. He just said, what does he expect, kind of thing. It's typical Ethan doing what he does. But then stupidly, he's gone in on Ivan about 30 seconds later. Do you know what? It's not even a foul. I know we want to jump on him. It's not even a foul. And he's just bashed into Ivan, and he's got the booking for that straight back. And it's just, I can understand why they're mad at that. But the thing is, it was almost like the referee created a rivalry between Varfolomiev and Ivan and Arahan that wasn't there with the yellow cards. But the two that really annoyed me, Ivan, then, to be fair, has kicked Kyle Dempsey, and you guys missed it, I think, because it's happened from the. So Steve Jollins, he's in the chat. He'll probably remember it because he will have had the same angle as me. You're looking straight down it. Dempsey's pulled the ball away, and he's just gone in and kicked him straight across the shins. I mean, it's a yellow card, and had he not already got a yellow card, I think the ref sends him off. Sam Dolby's challenge on Sonny Bradley, he's not pretty. I'll go with a yellow on that, because I can understand. I think the referee's at least he's punished it. OC Tutu, whatever his name is, Geordie OC Tutu, his challenge on Freddie Draper, excuse my language, is fucking horrible. And he should have been sent off for it. And I've watched it back. The referee, the only defence the referee has is that there's players between him and the challenge, so he doesn't even book him. But he's gone in over the top, straight leg studs. It's a red card all day long. The more I look at it, and in the break, I'll play it. It doesn't make good podcasting, but in the break, I'll try and find it and play it, and we'll show the readers.
Yeah, no, it's one of those. At the time, you think, oh, is it just an awkward, clumsy challenge? And then you watch it back, and you're absolutely right. To me, that feels like it's a red card challenge. And the one thing we noticed that Stephen Schumacher was quite critical of the referee in his post match, and it felt like he was maybe had a bit of sour grapes. But I will agree that I think the referee probably made the game a bit difficult in those early periods, because he did start flashing yellow cards quite quickly, and it maybe took a little bit of the sting out of the game. It certainly probably stopped some tasty challenges going in, even though there were, as we've just said, some that came in and bizarrely went unpunished.
It didn't stop them in the first half. I think it was the second half. Maybe there was a little bit of a look, just calm down a bit. And I think the referee, if I'm honest, was probably a little bit better for us. We had 12 fouls, 2 cards. They had 11 fouls, 5 cards. A couple of their cards were soft, I think. But as I say, they could quite easily have been a red card. I actually thought the ref tried to let it flow as much as possible, the push in, the pull in. It's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. I know Fred gets dragged everywhere, but he uses his body as well. All our free kicks were silly little body bumps. I mean, Rob Street's given 3 away that I'm just looking at and thinking, do you know what? If you show Graham Souness that, he's shaking his head. Norman Hunter and the club, even like the likes of Graham Bressington and that, good, honest, hard players. You look at that, it's like it's not a foul. But anyway,
no. And then the one chance I think probably that could have maybe seen us go in with a little bit more relaxation at half time. Jack Moylan just before half time. Some really good work to win the ball back by Freddie Draper. Ball finds its way to Jack Moylan, who breaks. It's not quite one-on-one. He's got a defender coming in covering, and has a shot from the edge of the box. And it's palmed away. But it showed that we weren't going to let up, and we weren't just going to sit back and defend that 1-0, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was relentless. Oh no, it wasn't relentless. That's the wrong word, because that would suggest time and time again. It was measured. What we do, we build control slowly but surely, and when we get a chance or we get a moment, we build that moment. And we did it against Plymouth. All our goals against Plymouth came after slowly building pressure. And I think after we scored, we kind of, well, it's not like we reset, but we like slowly begin to build pressure again. It's like a release. And actually, the really good thing about that moment, and it's, again, I'm not anti Ethan Arahan, as you know, by any stretch of the imagination, but it's him that gets tackled, I think, by Draper. And then I think he tries to have a lash out at Jack's legs. And I'm almost wishing he had caught them, because he would have been sent off, because he'd been booked, and it would have been a deliberate foul. And that's why for Stephen Schumacher to say, well, the yellow card affected their goal, it didn't, because Arahan was quite happy to try and take Jack Moylan out, right before half time. So that annoyed me, because I think I like Stephen Schumacher. And I think a lot of his assessment is really good. And I think that he's been respectful. And I think his post-match comments have reflected the game that I watched. And that doesn't always happen. And I just found it a little bit of a shame that he then blamed the early yellow card, which wasn't a yellow card. I even agree with him on that. But to point to that for the goal when his player's just been skinned, that's the only thing that's kind of annoyed me a bit. But I quite like Stephen Schumacher.
Yeah, no, it was. Like I say, there were a couple of bits in the post-match that I agreed with around the referee, but on the whole, it felt like he was trying to shift a lot of the blame for the result onto the referee, which I thought was drastically unfair given how the game had gone. But yeah, getting to half time then, and I think the mood all around was just, well, all around me, it was just buoyant. I think everybody was, just really excited to be where we were. There was lots of talk about things that we shouldn't be talking about at this point in time.
You mean like people at half time on a podcast where we've only got about 10 minutes to finish talking about the game, that sort of thing?
Yeah, well,
you've missed having me, haven't you, on the podcast?
I have, mate. Yeah, I'm just thinking we've only got like 3 minutes till the break. So do we start the second half now, or do we go for a break now?
You're trying to pad 122 people watching, and you're trying to pad out. Let's do half time. Let's crack on. Let's have an ad break after the game. Let's go. Let's get into it. Let's get into the second half, Benjamin. Come on.
Right, fair enough. So second half, and we kind of think, are we going to do what some people think we do? Sit back, let Bolton come into it, and we didn't. I think it seemed to be. Well, it seemed to be fairly evenly matched again for the first sort of 10, 15 minutes from where I was. I mean, obviously the momentum tracker on all the websites implied that we were still in the ascendancy for those first sort of 10 minutes or so. But, the shots, I think McAtee had the first shot of the second half, and then it was Moylan, Reach and Moylan again on 56 minutes. And it never felt particularly frantic, but it felt that there was definitely another goal in the game, and it felt like at that point it was more likely to come from us.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think there was an intensity about the game, which we were happy to let them have possession, and their possession wasn't always possession without a purpose. They were always trying to probe, and I think we were having to work really hard to stop that. It was like they were trying to spread like a virus, and we're there, but like the vaccine kind of going across. It was like this. Like the splatter cat duck thing. Whack-a-mole, that's it. Splat cat. That was just what we used to play. Like whack-a-mole. Do you know what I mean? Like they were trying to pop up, and we were constantly on it, and it was engrossing. And then when we did get an opportunity, we've got that little bit of magic, and it seems to have happened by accident, because I think at the beginning of the season, and particularly in like October maybe or November, I was thinking like, where's the creativity, the spark? And now we've got Hackett. He's absolutely a man on form. You've got Jack Moylan. He's just unplayable at the minute. Like a confident Jack Moylan. He reminds me. He had that little spell when he first came in, like in March against Barnsley and Cambridge, where he was unplayable, and then maybe he got a knock and he's drifted in and out. We've just got prime Jack. It's just, I very rarely say a player is undroppable. Like I think if Conor McGrandles has a stinker of a game, you can drop. But at the minute, like McGrandles was the only other one that I thought was probably undroppable. Maybe Sonny Bradley, maybe, but Jack Moylan just is. He's the one player. He's in a position that is probably the most rotated, where we've got the most options, and he has made it his own. He is just unbelievable at the moment. He really is. And we talk about their players. We've talked about Cozy Dubry, who they had and has gone off. We talked about Sissoko came on and did well, and Blackett Taylor and McAtee, the boy Kenny came on, looked really good. Josh Sheehan. There's going to be a lot of Bolton fans talking about Jack Moylan, and every week there's going to be more and more League One fans talking about Jack Moylan.
Yeah, it's time you knew about him. It was, I mean, I can only really echo that. It looked like the majority of stuff that we tried to do came through him, whether that was planned or whether that was just him taking the bull by the horns and going, right, I'm going to do this myself. But you mentioned Rico Hackett there. I thought Rico was instrumental in an awful lot yesterday as well. I thought he looked really, really sharp, and it feels good to have this version of Rico Hackett back. Essentially, we've said before on the podcast that he's seemingly blown a bit hot and cold, but we're looking at least the majority of this run. He's been really, really, on top form as well.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to agree with that. I think last season we saw, was it last season he was injured in pre-season and he came back, and we've been playing left wing back, and I think he never really got going properly, like probably Ethan Hamilton didn't, and a couple of others didn't as well. But like you say, in this recent run, I mean, assuming that this run started Port Vale, didn't it? Because we lost to Wickham. Yeah. He scored against Port Vale, 2 against Barnsley, scored against Stockport, goal against Peterborough, 2 assists, assist against Bradford, 2 goals and assist against Plymouth, and now an assist. He's just been, again, we use this word, he's been relentless. And he's not the star player every week, but he's a good player every week. But at the minute, the star player changes. It's been Adam Reach. There's been spells where give Adam Reach the ball, he's always going to score. Fred Draper, it's been Rico. It's Jack Moylan. It's been Tendai. It's So and I think Bolton was seeing that. We've got good players. Stephen Schumacher said it after the game. Lincoln have got good players, and long before they scored, it should have been 2-0. Long before.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the one thing that I do just want to say on that, there was a comment on, I think it was Trotter Chatter. So we had Ryan from there on the preview, and I think one of the other lads on there said the other day that Lincoln were a team of, I think he used the word squaddies, in that there's a bunch of players that would probably make Bolton's squad, but wouldn't necessarily trouble their first 11. And I think, to me, that feels almost like more of a compliment than it's intended to be, because we've said a few times, this Lincoln City side is more than the sum of its parts, and together as a team, as an 11, we're looking really, really solid at the minute. And you just said, there isn't necessarily a star man. It changes every week. And that to me feels like it's the proof, because we've just been a solid unit of a team, and it's not changed for 6 games.
We've dropped 8 points since since this run started. So we've dropped 8 points since the 29th of November, which is just ridiculous.
Phenomenal. So right, well, carrying on. Well, should we take a quick break there and then pick up after the? Yeah,
you're the host.
Yeah, all right. We'll take a very quick break here, and we'll see you the other side of an advert, and we'll say hello to the folks on YouTube. All right, see you in a minute.
So quickly, first of all, somebody's put, Gary, you sound like Chris there, so many stats. I've actually done some preparation for Northampton to save Chris doing it. Right, let's see if we can share this video quickly. Which one was it? This is it. So can I open that as a whole? Right. Let me see if I can share this with...
If not, I think I've got the clip that you sent, but it might have your voiceover.
Yeah, this one might have my voiceover as well. Are we seeing that?
Yep.
I mean, that's just... We'll play it again. That is just over the top, stamping down. It's just not nice at all.
No.
Nobody wants to see my WhatsApp.
So that was not the best of challenges. Right. Let's see who we've got in. Obviously, Flossie is in. I met Flossie yesterday. Good to chat. I said quite a few people came up. Steve Jollins is in. Ollie's here. Steve Barton, Chili Steve's here.
Chili Steve.
Andy Brown, Devon Imp is in. John Davison is in. Harry Jackson's in. Says Moylan was magic. Well deserved man of the match performance. Oh yeah, who was your man of the match, Gary?
Yeah, carry on. So the joke is, I got my man of the match video. I was doing it and I was trying to do a million things at once. It was Jack Moylan. I said Jack Moylan was outstanding. He's got to be man of the match. And then at the end, I said, and my man of the match is Tom Hamer. So it was Jack Moylan. Although Tom Hamer played well, I thought Sonny Bradley was better of the two centre halves. But anyway, we'll save that for the podcast.
Yeah, there we go. So Dave Tuplin's in. Podcast Mum's in. Evening, Gan. Hope everyone's well. I'm watching the Winter Olympics. Wowzers. I sent probably the most boring message that I will ever send to Emily the other day. And I said, Emily, did you see there's drama in the curling?
I saw that, the cheating.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't follow the Winter Olympics. It's basically just a load of things that aren't sports done on ice, isn't it?
Go down this thing fast on ice on a tea tray. Ian London Impson says, evening all. Would have taken a point before kickoff. Absolutely. The wife is watching. Who else? We've just got so many. Gerard's in. Matt's in. Neil Flowers in.
Sorry, I'm just replying to my brother about picking my nephew up for Tuesday's game. So I'm actually going back in my seat on Tuesday.
Ah, fair enough. Mole Wall is in. Well, another step closer, right? Dominique is in. Honestly, it is absolutely fantastic to see this many people getting involved in the chat on a live show. We've got 130 watching right now. That is brilliant stuff. Dean's in. David Hale's in. Matty Streetman, I do apologise if I'm missing people off, but yeah, just really, really great good stuff. Dave. Yeah, absolutely.
Lights on my house.
Great stuff. Right, so we shall come back in.
Shall I tell my story while we're online quick?
Go on, go on then.
From the Eagle. And it is a little bit. So everyone watching, so obviously, as everyone knows, I lost my dad recently, and so I've been trying to do different things on a match day. And we went into the Golden Eagle. And if you're watching or listening to this and it's you that I'm talking about, I'm not laughing at you. It was really nice to meet you. So I'm in the Golden Eagle, and this guy comes in. I think it's a blind guy. He's got a stick, and where we're stood, there's it was like two lampposts together. I think you'll know what I mean in the Eagle, about a person's width. And so my mate Matt's chatting to me, and this guy comes up with his stick, and he feels his way through the posts. And as he's going through, I say something to Matt, and as I speak to Matt, this poor guy turns and he just walks bang straight into this lamppost. And we it's like, you can't laugh at it because it's not funny. Do you know what I mean? Like, we felt for him, so we're like, oh God. And he dismissed. 2 minutes later, he comes back through the lamppost, and he goes, "Hello, Gary." He goes, "I can't see you, but it's Stacey West, isn't it? I recognise your voice." And I'm like, yeah, that's right. He goes, "Yeah, I recognised your voice a minute ago. Just walked into a lamppost." I was like, yeah, we saw you. Yeah, you all right? He went, yeah, I'm all right. How are you? And, yeah, I'm good, mate. Good, thank you. He said, is your dad here with you today? It's like, oh, and like, you could just see, I'm taking the mickey a little bit, because you could just see Matt kind of go, oh God, like, that's why we're not drinking where we normally drink. And this poor guy, when I told him, he was like absolutely mortified. Yeah. But I just thought it was so funny. It was the walking into the lamppost, like, oh, shouldn't laugh. Simon, I think his name was. So it was nice to meet you.
You shouldn't, but it is an instinctive thing, isn't it? Someone falls over or someone does something. Well. Yeah. I've been in a position where somebody has fallen, and your instinctive thing is to laugh, and you go, oh, but are they actually hurt? That's the first thing, is like the chuckle. Then is everyone all right?
Well, it was like Chris missing the plane. It was like, when we knew he had missed the plane, the first thing is, God, I hope he's going to be all right. And then it's like, Anyway, should we go back? Let's get back into it.
Yes, let's get.
We're going to pick up with the goal.
I was going to pick up with the subs.
Yeah, it's worth chatting. People want to ask about it, and HG has asked about it. So you can pull that in as a starting point.
Yep. So 3, 2, 1. And we are back. Thank you for the advert, and thank you once again to everybody that is watching it live on YouTube and Facebook. It is phenomenal to see that many people getting involved live. If you want to get more involved, get over to Patreon, get yourself signed up. You can get involved in our Discord, where we will have lots of members asking questions throughout the week. We sometimes ask them on the pod if it's not that busy, but tonight is going to be. A question that has come in through the live chat, though, is from HG69405. Would love to know the thoughts regarding the subs from Skubala. Felt like they were maybe unneeded. They dominated us from that point on. It felt like probably more due to the formation change. Now, this is one that tends to come up a little bit, is when we go to 5 at the back and it's, oh, we've gone negative. I thought that particularly when Josh Sheehan came on for Bolton, I thought he looked quite dangerous. Didn't think it was an immediate flick of the switch, but it looked like he was starting to grow into the game a little bit, and it felt to me like those substitutions were maybe to counter that more than, a perceived going negative style. What was your thoughts on that one, Gaz?
Yeah, I think so. I think you won a lot. There's 20 minutes to go. You do want to close the day out, game out. And I think there's a difference between going negative and kind of trying to control the game a little bit more. We defend very, very well. I do think they got some more legs on. They made a couple of little tweaks. Sissoko looked like he was going to be a real threat. I can't remember if the boy Kenny had come on before our changes as well.
Yes, he did.
On 65, he looked really good. He looked really, really lively. Got on the ball. He's on loan from Celtic. So I think it was a case of trying to deal with that. They were on the front foot. They desperately needed a goal, and that's how Chris talks about game state. It's game state, isn't it? You won the lot. They're going for it. Yeah, we could go, oh, well, we'll go for it as well. But then it could end up like Scunny and Boston yesterday. It could be like 6-3 or whatever. So I wasn't too upset with the subs. The one thing I think probably let us down was that we left Rob Street on as the striker. Was the man up top. I'm not going to say lone striker, because obviously it was. I think we went to like a 5-4-1, so to speak. And I just felt that Street looked a little bit.
He was knackered.
Yeah, he just looked a little bit leggy, and like nothing was really sticking when it was going forward. So you got Fred; he was knackered as well. Look, this is no criticism of either of them. They run themselves into the ground. But I think the ball was going forward Street. He wasn't able to win the headers or hold the ball up like Fred was.
No, Fred
and
does,
he was knackered, so he hadn't got the energy to kind of freshen it up either. So, that was the only thing I thought maybe we could have done differently.
Yep.
But at the same time, we were 1-0 up against Bolton with 10 minutes to go. So I'm not going to claim to be the tactical genius. They're the people sat in the dugout. And I don't blindly trust everything a manager does. But when you're Lincoln City leading Bolton 1-0, second in the table, 6 points clear of them, I tend to trust. So
yeah, I think I'm in agreement with you. I think it probably would have been, from my perspective, it would have been nice to see Ryan O'Neill maybe a little bit earlier. Replacing Rob Street, but the changes in general I thought were fine. I think the other element to that is we've had 20 odd shots, and we've not managed to get the second goal. It is one of those where you think, right, close it out and we'll see the game through. But Sam Dolby pops up and nods in the equaliser 8 minutes from time. Feels like, and the more I watch it back, the more it feels like a bit of a sloppy goal to concede, Gaz.
I'm not having that. It's easy to pick faults with opportunities and easy to pick fault with goals. They had 3 shots in the second half, and one of them was Dolby's header, and the other one was the late Dolby chance in the 90th minute. So between the start of the second half and the end of normal time, they'd had 2 efforts, and one of them's the header. The issue maybe is Errejón getting the ball in, but we've got the defence packed. What we're good at normally, we're good at defending. They call it defending the square or whatever it is. I can't remember defending the frame. I can't remember Michael's terminology. So at the end of the day, it's a great delivery from Errejón, and it's a good header. And sometimes you just have to go, there we go. I've seen us concede goals where I've looked to apportion blame. On this one, I'm just not. Yeah, maybe you want a defender to get ahead on it, but it's really easy to be critical. I think the fact is that we were outstanding in the second half. We limited them to 3 chances, one of which scored. We had 13 shots, 4 on target. We were having chances all the way through the half, and they had probably a 10-minute spell where they created, 1 good chance and then 1 in injury time. It was a bit of a sickener, but look, we did the same at their place, didn't we? We got the goal, created nothing. They created all their chances and they only got the 1 goal. So something Flossie's picked up on that actually was the one thing that really annoyed me, was that Bolton keeping the ball in play to keep Ryan One off the field. And it annoyed me. There was an opportunity. It's after their goal. I'm moving on from that. I don't know. I'll let you, if you want to pick it up again in a minute, you can. But I'll move on from it because it's a sickener and I hate it. And when I've watched the highlights, I've skipped past it because I don't want to see it because it was just shit to experience. But it's the McGrandles penalty shout. Now, it's not a penalty. I've watched it back. Like, McGrandles has gone through. He's showing incredible legs to get through. He's crowded out by 2 players. The referee gives a goal kick when arguably it was maybe a corner, which he then evens up in the 93rd minute when it was definitely a corner from Dolby's shot. Yeah. And he gives a goal kick. I think the ref realises he's dropped one at one end, so he's evened it up at the other end. That does happen. But what annoys me is that Ryan One was stood waiting to come on, and the referee didn't allow that to happen. And Bolton took their free kick quickly. They were speeding the game up. Like, they thought they were going to get their second goal, because what they've done is they've sat, they've contained, they've had to defend, not us. They've done that for, not 30, 35 minutes of the second half. Then they've had their little spell, and that's what they've been doing in recent weeks. Aside from when they beat Barnsley, they've been pushing in the last 5 minutes. They've been getting their goals late on. They were kicking towards their own supporters. So that was the only thing that annoyed me about the referee, was that he didn't let us make the One substitution a little bit earlier. So it's well spotted by Flossie. It was something that annoyed me that I instantly forgot about when the final whistle went.
Well, I mean, look, One came on. I think he's definitely got something, hasn't he? I like the look of One. Obviously scoring against Plymouth will always do that. A goal on your debut always endears yourself to fans. But yeah, I just think it was probably a few more minutes to maybe show what he was all about. But as Steve's just said in the chat there, Skabala told the 4th official to delay the sub. So interesting one.
Well, yeah, we did attack as well. And look, Rob Street, by the way, a word on him again, because we've glossed over the massive double save, I think.
Of course, and Street hitting the post
as well, because we can't talk about all the chances because there was so many. It's like we were playing a non-league team in the FA Cup first round. We created so much. In fact, we didn't create anything like that when we played Bowers and Pitsy under Mark Kennedy.
No, it's very true.
But yeah, Rob Street was a player that I wasn't sold on when he first came in. And he was a player that, when there was rumours of Peterborough offering £1 million for him, I would have taken that in a heartbeat in the summer. But he has been incredible. And again, we mentioned it a little bit earlier on. I can't believe we're 47 minutes in and we haven't moved on from the game. We need to sort something out. We need to get this planning sorted better. But I thought he was incredible. He had good opportunities, but his work rate is just absolutely phenomenal. It really is. He's another little Ben House, but with different qualities, perhaps with more centre forward qualities than Ben House, and less like scrapping. He's a variation of a theme. So a massive shout to Rob Street, and was really unlucky not to get something as well.
Yeah, I mean, just before that as well, that when he hit the post, there was that moment when I think everyone in the ground's begging Rico Hackett to shoot, but he's on his right foot, so he squares it. And
I think that's the right choice, by the way.
Yeah,
I know you said, why is he not shot there, in our group chat, and I wanted to berate and belittle you, but I just didn't have time. There was too much going on, so I'd love to have done that. It was a square. He squared it, didn't he, for
Street?
And wasn't it exactly the sort of ball that he did? Similar ball that he did for Jack Moylan's goal, albeit more central, and similar to a goal that we scored against Peterborough as well. So I think it's an active decision he's made.
Yeah. The only slight thing when Street hits the post, when you watch it back, Freddie Draper's 2 yards behind him, and he's completely unmarked. But it's ifs and buts and all that stuff. But look, final whistle goes. We keep the gap at 6 points ahead of Bolton. I think 3 points. Nobody would have really complained if we'd have won that game yesterday. I don't think. But the challenge goes on, and we don't have to play Bolton anymore. It just feels like we're still in the driving seat, guys.
Sorry, I'm just watching that Street chance back. It's a great ball by Rico. He's wrong. The keeper's on his arse. He's shaped to shoot. The keeper's gone down. It's great. It's really good defending from their 14. I think that was OC2-2, but I might be wrong. The pass to Draper probably is the better option. But you know what? He's got all the goal to shoot at, and he can see it. Yeah. For me, I'm not
criticising him for taking the shot, but it's just one of those where you look at you go, Draper's there. Ifs and buts.
Ifs and buts. But again, if it's striker, the other week we were criticising strikers for not taking the opportunities and looking for the extra pass. So with hindsight, if it goes in, nobody bothers. Oh, sorry, what was the question? What was the question a minute ago? You said something like that.
I just said, we continue to march on with the challenge, and it's still in our hands.
Yeah, it is. It is in our hands, and we are segueing beautifully into a game on Tuesday night that is going to be very, very different. And if anybody watching this is kind of thinking we're going to go and create 100 chances against Northampton because they're in the bottom half, there are all sorts of numbers that I would be doing a disservice to the memory of Chris Lamming, who's not with us this evening, but is still with us generally, if I hadn't gone into them properly. So would you like me to go into all these things that I've written down about Northampton Town and why it's going to be a really tough game?
Go for it, Gary.
I think it is going to be more like Burton at home. And let's hope so, because we won that as well. But I think it's going to be more like Burton at home and potentially Exeter at home. And now I actually don't think Northampton are a terrible side. Budget is down there. I think they've got a lower budget than us. Kevin Nolan is a manager who I thought would fail instantly and be gone by Christmas. He's made them quite difficult to beat when they should be quite a bit easier to beat. So they're 4 unbeaten at the minute, although one of those is in the Mickey Mouse Trophy, which you do take with a pinch of salt, but it's still 3 unbeaten. One of those is the draw against Exeter City. I think they beat Stevenage 3-1, and they drew with Barnsley, but before that, lost at Blackpool, at Rotherham, 2 pretty poor teams, and at home to Wycombe and Reading. So they are a little inconsistent. They also vary their tactics, so it's going to be really hard for us to plan exactly how they're going to play. And that's one of our strengths, is when a team comes and plays a certain way and we know how they're going to play and we know how they're going to set up, we look for the chinks in their armour, as we did at Plymouth. Michael Skubala explained kind of off air what the game plan was against Plymouth, and then we saw examples of that actually planned out. And it would be remiss of me to come on and say what those things are, but when we have an opportunity to plan against an absolute definite structure, we're better. In recent games, Northampton have played 3-4-3, 5-4-1, 3-4-2. It's a variation on a theme, I suppose, with kind of wide players and all of that. They tend to have the big focal man up front, which is Tom Eaves. They tend to have 3 across the back. Elliot Moore, particular beast at the back for them, but been out for a long while, played 90 minutes on Saturday, may not play 90 minutes against us. But I think our front line will be quite compact. So I wouldn't be surprised if it isn't Hackett and Draper and Moylan. Again, kind of all packed in nice and tight and close, and Rob Street as well, trying to play within their kind of back 3. But we shall see. Now,
do you think this is maybe a game where, we do see the changes in the starting 11?
Not massively.
Maybe. No?
Not massively, no. Somewhere, yes. It wouldn't surprise me somewhere, but I don't think we're going to go into this game and not play Fred, for instance, because 3 at the back, they're a team that, in terms of aerial duels, they're 4th in the division for aerial duels contested. We're top, and they've got the 3rd lowest success rate. So they contest a lot of aerial duels. They don't win an awful lot. I think we're going to want our big players in. I think we're going to want Jack Moylan in because he's undroppable. If Michael Skubala goes into the game on Tuesday and drops Jack Moylan and then we don't win, he takes pelters for that.
Yep.
Takes pelters. Potentially, maybe a Rob Street, because Rob's put a hell of a shift in for the 90. But again, I think that Michael might look at it and go, do you know what? These boys are doing the job for me week in, week out. We'll stay with them. And then if I have to make changes 45 minutes, if I have to swap Ivan for Tom Bayliss or Rob Street for Ben House or Jack Moylan for Ben House, then maybe do so. But I don't think there will be ringing changes. There may be the odd one, but I don't think there'll be huge changes. They're creating chances, Northampton, by the way, at the minute. XG of 2.46 against Stevenage, where they won 3-1. XG of 1.89 against Barnsley, drew 2-2. They had more XG than Reading when they lost 2-0 against them. I know people say XG is a load of rubbish. I had a really enlightening discussion with Chris Ashton in the press room about XG. He's not a massive fan at all. He's like, it's all about putting it in the onion bag. You know, Chris, he's a great guy. Now, they're not great away. They're 19th in the away table, which is slightly different to their position of 17th in League One. But in fairness, with the games and points per game and all that sort of stuff, it's probably about right. They're probably as good / as bad at home as they are away. They haven't won away. I just need to double check this because I've written it down, but I can't read my writing. No, it's correct. They haven't won away since the 29th of November when they won 3-0 at Plymouth. 29th of November is the day that our current unbeaten run started when we beat Port Vale 1-0, which I thought was quite interesting. Now, in terms of goals scored, they're second bottom. So they've been creating chances recently, but over the course of the season, they haven't. But they've got the 11th best defence in the league. So bear in mind they're 17th at the moment, 11th best defence. I was impressed with them, the eye test, when we played them at their place. I thought they were a lot stronger than people had given them credit for at the back, and I thought they had a little bit of a spark up top. Tom Eaves worries me a little bit. I've always liked him. I think he's a big focal point. If I remember correctly, when we played him at home last season, did we play him early doors, beat him 2-1? And I think... I'm going to check this now. I think he went off injured. I seem
to remember. Yeah, I think you're right on that one. I know we definitely played them early doors.
Yeah, it was 2-1, the 29th of October, and he came on 45 minutes and went off after 60. Yeah, so he was a player that I particularly liked. The one thing that does bode well is they've got the highest XG against in the division, and they've faced the most shots in the division. But they're top for shots blocked and they're top for interceptions. So what you've got here is a side that may lack a little bit of quality. They do concede chances and they do concede shots, but they put their bodies on the line. They fight. They're probably the image of their manager as a player, if I'm honest. And you may notice as I'm going over this, I actually have a real begrudging respect for Northampton this season because they should be adrift. They shouldn't be outside the bottom four based on resources, they've had terrible transfer windows. They've struggled to get strikers in both windows. They've had to lean into the free agents market. They had Ethan Wheatley, who was doing okay for them, recalled by Man United and sent back out to Bradford. They've really struggled. XG against 48.85, actual goals conceded 39. So they are hugely outperforming their defensive stats. Now, at some point, that may have to come undone, and it could well be at Sincil Bank, but they do just put themselves on the block. And by the way, by top interceptions, we're second. So their defensive numbers, although there's differences in structure, but the way that they defend, for me, kind of draws comparisons actually with the way that we were defending earlier in the season. It's just bodies on the line, get blocking, get clearances in, fight. And they do have that little bit of quality going forward. And they also have Jack Vale, who's Devon Imps mentioned. I had made a note of his name there, who's bound to want to score against us.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, we didn't really see much of Jack Vale, did we? I remember when we signed him, and you, I think you and Chris were at the drill, weren't you?
Yeah,
I remember that one. But
did a drunken live.
Yeah, that was the one. Look, I mean, I think it's easy for some people to fall into the trap of looking at the table, going, 3 points, easy job. But we know that. Well, Marcus Cabala says it week in, week out. There's no easy games. There's no easy games in this division. And yeah, I mean, I'm kind of with you. Like, I think I picked Northampton to be one of the teams that was, we're definitely going to go down at the start of this season. And the fact that they're above they are above the relegation zone, not by a massive amount. I think, a couple of results, a bad result, a bad weekend could see them drop back in. I think they're only 2 points clear at the minute.
It's games in hand. Burton are 2 points behind, game in hand. Wigan are 3 points behind, game in hand with one different goal difference. One game behind, 3 points. Rotherham are 2 games in hand, 3 points behind them as well. Yeah. So, if the bottom three win their games in hand, they go above them, as would Doncaster, as would Leyton Orient. Now, it won't happen, if all the teams below 1 games in hand, it would actually, the bottom 3 would actually, the bottom 4 would actually be Port Vale, Blackpool, Northampton, and then Wigan. So, in fact, no, then Blackpool actually would be.
Yeah.
Then Blackpool, anyway. So, I mean, look, it's tight at the bottom. You know, you've got 6 points separating Barnsley in 16th and Burton in 21st. It's not as tight as it was, but it's tight. But then from 12th to the playoffs, there's only 9 points. So
it just feels like it's another one where, you know, every team that is going to be in those fights, they're just going to be scrapping for every point they can possibly get, and it'll probably be a slog on Tuesday night. It's not going to be the prettiest game. I don't think it'll be it'll be far removed from what we saw on Saturday. But, you know, here's hoping that we can pull something out of the bag and get another 3 points as we look to build on what we've done so far, guys. It's all looking very good. Right. There will be a preview video on the channel, on the YouTube channel shortly. I think we're actually recording that tonight after the podcast with the folks from It's All Cobblers to Me. They've been on the channel before. Really good fun. They're always up for a laugh and coming on. So, keep your eyes open for that one a little bit later on. Probably put that one out tomorrow morning once we've got that all recorded. And then, I think that's it for the games that we have this week. The other news, the Stockport game has been moved back to a 12:30 kickoff because it has been selected for Sky coverage. And I think that means that the Bolton game was now the only 3 p.m. in 2 months. Is that right?
Yeah, we had a 3 p.m. kickoff against Cardiff, didn't we? On 21st. Before that, I think it was Port Vale on the 29th, which was the start of this run. And now Stockport has been moved. Blackpool will be the only one until, I can't remember when it is. I've got all the games up there. I can't see though because I haven't got my glasses on. 3 p.m. Saturday kickoffs are real minimal. So with 1 minute, so with Stockport being moved, Rotherham on the 21st, and then we don't have another one until the
3rd of April. Oh no, that's a Friday.
That's a Friday.
11th of April. 11th of April, Leyton Orient.
Oh yes, 11th of April. So 3 p.m. Saturday kickoffs are in short supply. But I actually checked, and I think we will by the end of the season still only have had the same number of 3 p.m. Saturday kickoffs as we had last season. Oh. Even though it feels like a lot more has been moved because we did have games moved for TV last year as well. Yeah, no, well, to be fair, we'll probably still have a few more games moved before the end of the season if this run continues. And possibly. I think I don't know if the number. I don't know if you've got to have a certain number of teams playing. Everybody's got to play. So I don't know. I think we're all looking good. And Mol has mentioned this in the chat. We should also say that we are sending all of our best wishes to secret Stacey West podcast member Liam Scully for getting well soon because he's undergone emergency surgery for a ruptured appendix, which is not nice. So all the best, Liam. Hope you're back on your feet and back at the bank soon enough, mate. It's that can be a very nasty one. So I'm glad they caught it when they did. Just echo that. Obviously, we got a little message that he wasn't well. No, obviously, why would we know? But best of luck to Liam for that. It's a nasty one indeed. Actually, oddly, a friend of mine, Ash, I don't know if he's listening or not, but he had something similar just before Christmas. Flew back from the Philippines for Christmas, and the day that he landed, had to go into hospital with whether he had a ruptured appendix or whether it didn't quite rupture. I can't remember, but he was very uncomfortable all Christmas, and I didn't get to see him. So. Yeah, I think it's one of those, like you've heard people when they got appendicitis, that's really, really painful. And then, and they've sort of said when it ruptures, that's when it gets really bad. So, all the best, Liam. Hope you're feeling well soon, my friend. And we will see you shortly. Right then, guys, I don't think there is anything else that we need. We were going to take the one question from Stu, weren't we? Because we did have a 6 or 7 minute break. So we
Yes, yeah, we were. So,
yeah,
so Stu did ask the question in our group chat and said, possible topic for tonight: has being out of cup competitions helped us to get to where we are? It's a fair question. Go on.
I think it has. I think it's helped. I think not so much the League Cup, because it's that is what it is, isn't it? We had a good run in that, but yeah, the FA Cup was games this weekend. We obviously got a week off when Exeter were in the cup in the third round. We got the week off in the second round, so we got a rest at key times. Is it any coincidence that actually we got the week's rest for the second round? And I'm just going to check my dates, but it's the first weekend of December, isn't it?
Yeah, so that was
the second round, and we didn't play on about the 6th off the top of my head.
No, we played on the 29th of November, obviously, and then
the next one would be the 5th of November, 5th of December, would it?
9th of December we played Barnsley,
which is a Tuesday.
Which is Tuesday night, and then 13th of December was the next Saturday. Yeah.
So the actual Saturday that we missed, as I have already said quite correctly, was the.
I never said you were wrong.
No, you just went round about the houses saying I was right. Was actually the 6th of December. We haven't been beaten since we had that break, and obviously we got the break after the Peterborough game, and people are going about losing momentum. But it was a 13-day break, and since then we've won 4 and drawn 2. The 2 that we've drawn, Luton and Bolton. I think it does help. And I think as well, like not having the EFL trophy, like if you're a mid-table also ran, or if you're in Northampton, no disrespect, they're in like the semi-final or whatever it is now. Fair play to them, because it gives them something else to cling to, something else to play for. But it does put pressure on your squad. And like if we wanted, like if we were still in that on Tuesday night, we had a game, you'd be going, right, so it's going to be Zach Geacock in goal, like Riley Towler will play, Deji Eloweri will play. Who's going to play left back and right back? Who's going to play those positions? Like, is Adam Reach going to have to play? Is Ten going to have to play? Is Tom Hamer going to have to play? Josh Honohan's still injured. How are you going to work that out? Eric Ring might have to play left back, and then you're looking at the midfield, and it's like, well, Tom Bayliss will play, but then if we wanted to chop and change it on Saturday, would we be able to? Or Tuesday, would we? Do you know what I mean? So actually, it throws up quite a lot of. Then they're not bad choices if you have a deep squad. If you're Huddersfield and you've got 11 on the bench, it's fine. But a game at football now is about so many more than 11, and it's an opportunity to get injury. Case point, the last Mickey Mouse Cup game we played, James Collins got injured for this season. So I will always champion the Cups when we're in it. But I think it has helped us this season not being in it.
Yeah,
and who would have said that against Salford? When we went against Salford, who would possibly have gone, it's good that we've gone out against Salford because we're going to get a break and go on a 14-match unbeaten run. Yeah,
no, I agree. Hindsight's always easy, like you said earlier. But it feels like it's when we spoke to Jez, I think it was before the transfer window, and he was saying in there, that you've got the aim was for the transfer window to make the squad a bit leaner because we're not needing to be in the cup competitions, and it just gives you a bit more focus because right, these are definitely the games we're going to have. We can streamline everything to just put all the energy into those, and it's kind of paying dividends. I mean, cup run's always nice, but this feels like the season that we definitely didn't need one. Right. There is also one other thing that's just come to mind that I wanted to shout out, because I've seen a couple of posts about it on socials from the club as well. Just well done to everyone in the ticket office at the club yesterday. There was my understanding is it was a colossal balls up from Ticketmaster that wiped off everybody's season ticket and made it so that it expired on Friday afternoon.
Don't concern everybody, because it wasn't every season ticket.
Okay.
So I don't want people suddenly going, oh, have I got to do something with my season ticket if they haven't?
Okay. If your season ticket was... Okay, if your season ticket disappeared from your digital wallet on your phone, it was because it had been subject to this glitch from Ticketmaster. And yeah, fair play to the club for getting it sorted out. I think the emails went out. It confused us initially because we got an email both saying you're 26, 27. Yeah, it's been renewed. And we thought, oh, okay. Got very confused about that one. But yeah, just fair play to everyone at the club that pitched in to get that sorted. My understanding was that the staff were in at 6:30 in the morning, responding to emails to try and get that all resolved.
1,200 emails they replied to, I think.
Something like
the
that.
Whole team. What I'll say, I'll just second that, because every time I've had to deal with the girls in the ticket or the people in the ticket office, I don't know if there's any chaps working now. I've only ever chatted, I think, to the girls in there or the women in there. They've just been amazing. Like when we wanted to change Dad's season ticket from pensioner or whatever it was to my nephew Isaac, like they just couldn't be more helpful. They were just so helpful. So yeah, great work. And probably not helped by Jack Mulhall, if we're honest. Probably not helped a great amount by him.
Top tier shithousery that was.
My God, and he caught a couple as well.
Did anybody actually go? Do you know? I don't think anybody actually went.
I don't know if anybody actually went, but I did message him and just say, do you know what I mean? After you'll be getting a letter from the club, you will, Jack, the way you're going on. Honestly.
Anyway, right. Well,
let me just. I actually messaged him, and I don't know because I don't get any replies on Twitter. I don't see my DMs then.
So for those that didn't see it, there was a tweet that went out which essentially said there's been a major Ticketmaster glitch. All tickets are invalid. Any Bolton fans need to go to the ticket HQ, which is at the Lincolnshire Showground from 2 p.m. Do not travel to the ground without visiting.
Oh, God.
I mean, if you're casting a net out like that, you're going to catch some fish. Well done. Fair play.
Yeah.
But, right. Well, I think, Gaz, that's probably a good spot to end the podcast.
Yeah.
And yeah, ahead of Tuesday night's game. It's the biggest game since the last one, isn't it?
Yep, and until the one after that.
Absolutely. Right. Well, we'll see you soon. I think it might be me and maybe Emily on Wednesday. But we'll sort the rotor out. Anyway, up the Imps.
Up the Imps.